What's up, everybody? Jason Guyman here tonight. And I almost forgot. It is Wednesday night. And so tonight, I'm just going to do Q&A. And we are going to see if this camera is going to stop and quit moving. Stop in the name of whatever. So tonight, I want to hit on Q&A. I want to hit on what your goals are. You know, have you made goals for 2025? And these are important. And if you haven't made goals for 2025, what are some of your goals for this year? And I know a lot of times it is hard to know what our goals is. And so that's what I want to talk about. And there's another thing I want to talk about too tonight. I want to talk about how we can get pricing higher than what we think we can get. And so I've actually had a few conversations today. That's one reason why I was late on this call. I forgot tonight is Wednesday night. And so I was on another call and then I got another call and I forgot all about tonight is Wednesday. And the second call is like, oh crap, I think you're supposed to be live. And I'm like, oh crap, I think you're right. So that is where I am at tonight. I didn't put it out in the group. I mean, I did put it out in the group. If you all want to share it, I'd appreciate it. But what this week has been a little bit rough on me. I've been dealing with some stuff that I just haven't been feeling good. And so I've been a little bit under the weather and I've just been blah. And so that's kind of where I'm at. And then I've been trying to build this website. And if you go to christmaslights.io, regular, you'll see that I've changed the front page. And you can see that I'm starting to work on my Shopify store. And so I've just been going crazy here lately. And so I've just been going all different sorts of directions. So that's me. I'm going to quit complaining. And it's just about taking action, you know? And so tonight, one of the guys he had called me from North Dakota. He's been asking quite a bit of questions in the group. And I kind of had a couple different mindsets or different thoughts. And I want to talk about these thoughts because these are common thoughts that a lot of times when I'm talking to different individuals, something will come out of these thoughts. And so the first one is words. You know, I've had a conversation in my mentorship meeting today, and the words are so important. If you don't believe that you're worth $8 a foot, $10 a foot, you're never going to get it. If the words you speak aren't fluent, if you're using a lot of filler words, is, there, so, whatever these other filler words that you may use, these things actually will hold you back from getting customers because they feel like you don't know what you're talking about. And it's been kind of funny because on our Marco Polo today, we've been catching a lot of people and they've been catching themselves of these filler words. I think about people that when I have on a phone call that has done very well this year and has closed over $500,000, that when he's on phone calls or when he's talking to people, he's excited. And he doesn't use these words of or whatever it might be. And so this is important because when we talk about this, it will help you close more jobs. Now, you can see that I have slowed down a little bit. And the reason why I've slowed down a little bit is the other night I did one and I had 989 filler words. And that's a lot of filler words. Now, this was on my Monday night Zoom call. And on my Monday night Zoom call, I went through the Facebook ads, how to set up a Facebook ad. So some of that was, I know how to do it, but I'm not real comfortable in teaching it to other people. And so it came out of me as in filler words. And so that is important when we're speaking to other people, that we feel comfortable. And when we feel comfortable, a lot of times the filler words will go away. I didn't get the live text tonight, FYI. Nope, Patrick, you didn't, because I didn't start the live till 9:10 because I forgot about it. I was on a Zoom call. I was actually on another call and I actually forgot about it. So tonight is a Q&A. If you got questions, please ask your questions. If you want to share it out in some of my group, I didn't even share it out in my own group. If you're on Facebook and you want to share it into the Christmas Lights training, I'd appreciate it. But that's where I'm at. And so I go back to this book a lot because this book here is one that I've read several times. There's another book out there, How to Win Friends and Influence Others. If you haven't read that book, I would highly recommend you to read that book. But again, my book of the week this week is Think and Grow Rich. And the reason why I'm picking that book tonight is this book works on this up here. This book here works on your mindset. And when you have a mindset that you're thinking of small, then that's what's going to happen to you, and it's going to be a struggle to grow. But when you have a winning mindset, when you have a mindset of abundance, when you have a mindset of believing that you can achieve $100,000, that you can achieve $1 million. When you have that mindset shift and you go to that shift and change, it's really powerful at the end of the day, because your brain and mind is an amazing piece of an equipment, right? And so this is why it is important that you feed your brain with important stuff and things of, and the people that you want to become, or the people that you want to achieve to be like, is important. I actually had this phone call with somebody else tonight. And yes, I will tell you, you have to be careful from people who you learn from. And I say this a lot because I know a lot of the people that train Christmas lights also sell Christmas lights. And yes, I sell Christmas lights too, and it helps me out when you buy from me. But here's the thing that I will tell you. Am I the cheapest? Nope, I'm probably not the cheapest. Are you the cheapest in your area? And if it is, then you can go buy cheap lights from somebody else. But if you're not, why do you want to nickel and dime me when you don't want your customers to nickel and dime you? But that's not what I was going after. This is what I was going after. When you are around cheap people and you are around that mindset of scarcity, and what that can bring to you is usually not very good success. You know, I sit there and I think about this, and When I was growing my business in the beginning, I struggled really, really hard. I struggled because I was broke. I was working at the firehouse and I was making $28,000 a year in 2008 and 9 and 10. I was at 28, 32, $35,000 a year. And in fact, when I quit the firehouse in 2020, I was only bringing my highest year at the firehouse was $48,000. That was my highest year, and that was with overtime. And so this is something that as we start learning and growing, it's important we get around the right people. And I had one guy was like, Jason, how do I go to training? I'm too busy. I don't have time. I don't have this. And this is what I asked him. I'm like, how much does it cost you not to go to training? How much does it cost you not to get around people? There was a guy in my last class of my Christmas light class doing 7 figures. And there was another guy that was doing high 6 figures. How much does it cost you not to be around those types of people? And both of them were an open book. And how much does it cost you not to believe why this is? So these are all important things that we have to do to be able to make sure that we are staying successful. I need to hold on. Someone's messaging me on the website. So yes, if you are on my new website and you ask a question and you wait long enough, a few minutes while you're there, I literally just got it here and I will answer your question, or my wife will. And so that's what I was texting her is, can she take that question for me? So this is something that as we take action, it's important that you start learning and growing. Now, mindset is one thing. Taking action is another thing. I see a lot of times people want to sit there and overanalyze their business. They want to sit there and think it through and try to find the easy button. And don't get me wrong, I love the easy button. But let me just tell you something. There is no easy button. Some of you might think, Jason, you've got the easy button. You really want to believe that? You can, but do you know that pretty much I start my day at 8 o'clock. I come down in this shop and I'm here tonight at 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock. The other night on my Facebook Live, when we talked about Facebook, I was here till 11 o'clock. And, I work a lot to keep this content coming to you. Every Sunday night and Wednesday night since 2018, I've been on this live every Sunday night and Wednesday night. And I would say there's less than 20 times that I have not made a Sunday night or a Wednesday night. And it was either I had something else that I could not do it, or I might have been on vacation where I was with my family, or I was deathly sick. Other than that, I show up week after week after week after week. And you can tell when I first started this, it wasn't good. I was actually watching a video earlier today because I put a video on my website. I wanted to show you how to make males and females and plugs. So that way it was on the website. So when look at it, you can actually see that the male and female. And so this is something that I put on there, but it showed me the one that was one of my originals when I was at my old shop in Cincinnati. And it has more views, but I could not put it up on the website because I didn't like the way I sounded. I didn't like the way I presented it. But that video has had 36,000 views. And probably every one of you have probably seen this video. Do I like it? No, I don't. In fact, my goal is once I get this website up and running, is to start making more of the how-to videos so I can put it on the website so you can learn better and understand how to do things better so you can grow your business. When we focus on the business, it's amazing what can happen. Excellent value. Love the content. Just came across your videos recently. Are you sitting outside? This is definitely something that we have to think about. All right, if you have questions, please ask. I want to answer your question. What's up, Odin? I'm working on creating a spreadsheet right now for a follow-up process. After I get the quote sent out, it seems like they ghost you. What does your follow-up process look like? Here's the thing I'm going to tell you, Odin, and we've been talking about it a lot. Quit focusing on things that are keeping you from calling people, from texting people, from getting your yard signs out, to calling businesses, because we can get into a system of whatever it might be. And yes, I understand we need follow-up, right? But at this point in time, if you don't have 30, 40 calls coming in a week, then you can follow up by putting them in Google. You can follow them up by putting them in Google Calendar. And we can work on those things of what that follow-up needs to be. But the goal should be right now is how do we get more leads? And this isn't just for Odin. This is for everyone. And here's the thing. I know a lot of times people are like, right now, there is a lot of tire kickers, right? There's a lot of tire kickers going on right now, but people will start closing. You do need to follow up. You do need to make sure you're answering the phone. I seen somebody today, JC was talking about how someone had tore down his sign and threw it into the ditch. And when he called their phone number, guess what? They didn't answer their phone. And I see this a lot. We spend all of this marketing money to then not answer the phone. It really doesn't make any sense. And it's kind of dumb at the end of the day. And so if you're willing to go out and spend thousands of dollars on marketing, then spend money to make sure that you're answering the phone. And I'm going to take that a step further. If you're kind of a hello type of person and not excited type of person to answer the phone, you may need to hire someone that is exciting so that when they answer the phone, they're more likely to sell magic and quit selling the bulb. One of my young guys just called today. He went from $3.50 a foot. And he's like, the big guy in my area is $3.50 a foot too. But Jason, I listened to what you said and I raised my prices to $7. I'm like, well, you didn't listen 100% because I said $8, but we're good at $6, right? And so that's something that we have to think about when we are starting to grow this business. And when we are thinking about this, it is definitely something that as we're growing this business, there's always going to be someone cheaper. And when we start thinking about when someone's cheaper, we don't believe that we are worth $6 a foot. We don't believe we're worth $8 a foot, $10 a foot. And so it's important that as we start getting more leads, we do have to understand that it is in October, but on the same note, November is coming fast. And I always tell people when this weather starts changing, it does something to the brain, and people will start buying more and more. Because if you didn't know this, we're real close to good old Halloween. We're only, what are we only 21 days, 22 days to Halloween. So just some things to think about as we're growing the business. What's your all's questions? I know we got, what do we got? 18 people on here. Odin, it's past your bedtime. Well, he probably ain't got a bedtime right now because he's still in the hospital. I don't know if, or not in the hospital. He's still in the old leg. I don't know if you're going to school now or not. But that is interesting if you are or not, if you get the hall pass or not. So I know when my oldest daughter tore her ACL, they have an elevator there, and the only way you get to ride the elevator key is you got to go tell them, and then you can ride the elevator. So, what questions you all have tonight? If you don't have questions, well, I'm going to tell you about where you should do something. We are going to have a class coming up next week and the weekend after. Next week, we are going to have a special guest with us here, and he is going to speak on how to get employees. I will be doing my speech, but he is going to speak on how to get employees. And why is he going to speak on how to get employees? Because he's an expert at getting employees. And so that is his job, is help get employees. And he's a great friend of mine. I've been to several classes with him. He's an awesome guy, and I really like him. And so it will be a great class next weekend. Obviously, Friday is going to be the Christmas lights, and then Saturday will be marketing and teaching you how to do sales and how to grow a business, because that's the most important thing. A lot of people want to come and learn how to do the lights, and yes, we teach you how to do the lights, and we teach you the systems. And I have a roof that you can climb up on that got used a crap ton, and you can use the goat, and you can use the pitch hoppers, and you can hang the lights, and you can put them on the poles. And we got trees outside, so you can hang lights on trees. We got good old Mr. Long Arm here that sucks. That we can show you how to use the old swinging long arm. And so that is what we have coming up. If you need any lights, Christmas lights, you can go to christmaslights.io. I actually changed the front page, so you'll see how it looks different. If you go to my new site, and if you find anything or you see anything, let me know what, if there's anything I can do to make it better, let me know, and I will make it better for you if I can. I just put out some mini yard signs that my competitors get a workout if they decide to pick up my signs. You know, don't you love people that you realize what karma is going to do by them picking up your signs? That's the only thing I can tell you. And have I ever been in a sign war? And the answer is yes. I got accused of taking someone's sign, and that was the start of me paying my employees money to go pick up their signs. And yes, I picked up a lot of his signs after that point. Because if you're going to accuse me of picking up your signs, and I didn't, then guess what? And you know, he accused another competitor of ours, and he had a whole garage full of his. After he accused him, he had a whole garage full of his yard signs. So that's why you got to be careful of accusing people of what they did or didn't do. What are some numbers to run to tell if you need to hire more people? Well, I always like to see, like, how far are you booked out? You know, I see people and they're booked out a month, and it's like, you need to hire people. You know, I like, I can't think of his name now. I see his face and I know his company name, but I can't think of his name. And he always said that if you get more than 2 weeks out, you should be putting another truck on the road. And I would almost agree with that. And so that is something that a lot of people are scared to death of. But when you get booked out, you know, I know people right now that are booking into the middle and end of in November. And it's like, at this point, you need to do one of two things. You either need to raise your prices a lot, or you need to start hiring people so you can start getting more work and start keeping it going. And a lot of times it's raise your prices. I would also say, you know, what do you want? What is your goals? Have you written down your goals? I kind of talked about this in the beginning. Have you written down your goals to know what your goals are? You know, do you want to grow and scale? Are you comfortable? Comfortable is not a good place to be sometimes, because I always say you're either growing or dying. There really is no flat line, right? And so, but you also want to grow responsible. You don't want to grow too fast. You don't want to, you may never grow if you grow too slow. But I would say, where do you want to be at? Do you want to be on the truck? Do you not want to be on the truck? Are you hiring an office manager? What are you hiring? Those are things that I would look at those are things that you want to look at. And it's back to, do you want to grow? Do you want to have employees? I always look at it this way, right? You're most profitable when it's by yourself and one helper or two for in the beginning. And then when you start hiring people, it gets a little less. And then it gets a little bit more. And those are things that, as we keep growing, and this is why I always tell people that that 700,000 to 1.2 is a rough area to be, because we're having to hire managers, we're having to hire crew leaders, and so we're having to hire people in the office, and some of those are things that aren't always making you money. They're not money making people at the end of the day. Jason, what are your thoughts on permanent lighting? How much do you usually charge, and do you offer warranty to the customer? And the answer is, I think that permanent lights, you're starting to see more of them, even locally. You know, in the past few years, I couldn't tell you where the lights were and where the lights weren't. Now I can tell you where probably about 20 or 30 sets of permanent lights are across the area. Is it like Utah? No. Right? Utah, you can find 20 sets in each neighborhood that has permanent lights. I don't know that around here. But this is what I would say. I would charge anywhere from $30 to $50 to $60 a foot. And yes, I know people that have gotten $58, $50, $48 a foot for permanent lights. And DJ and myself actually have 3 permanent light jobs to do, and we're going to go do 2 of them tomorrow. We're hoping we can get 2 of them done tomorrow. We actually got 2 guys helping us, and so our goal is to try to get 2 of these jobs done tomorrow. So that's our goal. I don't know if it's going to happen. And the 3rd job, we don't have all the track yet. We may try to get it done on Friday. We're going to kind of see and wait and see how that works out. And so these jobs, we charge anywhere from $35 to $40 a foot. And if I do any more, just talking to DJ, we're probably going to push our prices to $40 to $45 a foot. Am I getting leads through my website of inspiringnights.com? Yes. And so they have been some leads come through that way. It is something that, it is there, but I haven't done a lot of SEO on it, but it is ranking and it is getting some leads through it. On the warranty, so Invisalign is a 5-year warranty. And so depending on how you want to do the maintenance, you can charge maybe $300, $500, $700 a year to have maintenance. So that way, if you pay the maintenance, it keeps the warranty on them and you can go that route with them. Hey, Jason, what do you do when having to run long jumps to trees to protect the wire from lawnmowers? I always put a plug in it, and I unplugged it and wrapped it up at the tree and said, hey, we can either come back after Thanksgiving or go show them after Thanksgiving. You can come undo this and plug it in, so that way they don't go bye-bye, because the likelihood of that wire staying on the ground and them running a mower over it is very unlikely. And here's the great thing about this year. Grass is still growing. This year has been the growingest grass ever I can remember. We had lots of rain in the spring and in the summer, and then August got dry, but it's been enough that the grass is still growing. We had a rain yesterday and it just shot straight back up. So that's kind of where I am on the mower. I know you can get the lawn stakes and try to keep it down, and it's hard, but the likelihood of that getting chopped up is a pretty good likelihood. And so that's why we always unplugged it and made it where it can unplug and plug back up. So you hope that the mower guy will unplug it and then plug it back up when they're done. We had one that was between two trees, and when it was between the two trees, the UPS guy would run right up through there, because the door was actually, the way the road was, the door was straight up between these two trees. And so the UPS guy would run up there. Well, he unplugged them on me one time, and the next time he tripped and fell and he quit going that way, because I tied it around the tree to make sure that it wasn't going to unplug, because I had to go back for a callback. When would you recommend sending out EDDMs? Last month. I would say that if you don't have EDDM printed, you're not going to get them in time. You would have to get one out tomorrow, like literally tomorrow, and then you would want to get one out October 31st, and then you would want to get one out like the middle of November, so that way you get 3 out right in a row. But you would need to get it out literally tomorrow if you want to use EDDM. Showing up when you don't feel like it. When you're super busy, practicing what you preach, well done, my friend. Yeah. And so I was actually on the phone with Daniel before I got on here. He was the one that was making me late, but I actually forgot all about my call. I thought tonight was Tuesday night, and I wasn't even paying attention. I forgot tonight was Wednesday night. And so that's why I almost didn't make it on the call tonight. So, but I'm here. And what's your all's questions? If you didn't know, if you wanted to join christmaslights.io/SP, it is my membership. With the membership, you get to have all my videos that I teach. And then every Monday night, we have a Zoom call. And on that Zoom call, I teach about 15-20 minutes on marketing. And then we have about an hour and a half call after that, of just learning and answering people's questions and growing their businesses. This past week, I actually did the whole thing of Facebook ads. how to set up an ad on Facebook. Next week, I'm probably going to start doing some more of these of how to do things. And so that's what my goal is. And this is something that if you wanted to learn, you can definitely go check it out. And that is where you can do that. Where do I order those cool shirts? Well, this green shirt here like that. No, you want my sweatshirt and that. The place that we use, I use thoughts, TCOL 360, TSOL 360, Saeed. He does great at getting things done. He is fairly reasonable and he gets them to you. I've ordered 25, 30 shirts and he will get them to you within about a week. So that is what you can do for that too, for the shirts. Let's see. Tell them all about your awesome new site and how it can help us all scale our business. So yeah, so if you go to Christmas Lights, it's still not live 100%. You can buy off of it. I'm working on it. There's some things that you're going to see that it has writing. Pictures don't match the writing, but you can buy everything from there. And the more you help me support me, the more I help support you and bring more great content like this to help you grow your business. So that's definitely check it out, christmaslights.io. Don't go to christmaslight.io because that one actually, those may not be pointed to the site yet. So some of my sites aren't. So if you actually got to go to Christmas Lights with an S, Christmas Lights, and you'll see how I changed the front of it. You've been in the holiday lighting business for a while now. What's something new you learned over the years that made a big difference? You've been in the business for a while. So I started in 2014, so 11 years. What's something new you've learned over the years that made a big difference? Mindset is key. As I watch people and as I teach people and as I've helped people grow, if you have an I know it all mindset and you don't listen and take action, it's not going to work out for you. You know, I've seen this over and over and over, right? If you've watched anything, you know that my yard signs are to keep it simple, right? And then this is just one instance that I'm talking about. Like, keep it simple, right? What you do, big, what you do, right? And a big phone number. I've seen so many people come and they'll say, Jason, I had one, and I don't know who I know who he is, but I'll call him out a little bit. He's like, I put out 750 yard signs and only made $35,000. And I'm like, that's not very good. Something's not right. And I'm like, what's your yard sign say? He's like, I know what the problem is. I'm like, well, why are you asking me then? He's like, I have this amazing website. And I didn't put my phone number on the sign. I put my website on the sign. I'm like, there you go. So the biggest thing that I've learned over the years is keeping it simple. We like to overcomplicate a lot of things. You know, the people I help, there's nothing special about these people. Daniel, there's nothing special about Daniel. Jeremy, there's nothing special about Jeremy. Chip, there's nothing special about Chip. I can go on and on and on. People that I've helped grow their business. There's nothing special about them. But you know what that is that they have? They don't give up. They don't stop. They don't quit. You know, a lot of people want to be like Daniel. A lot of people want to be like Jeremy, but they don't want to do what Jeremy did to get where he is now. They don't want to spend $50,000 and go learn from Michael Bernoff. And Jeremy wouldn't be where he is today if he did not do that and get around like-minded people. They don't want to spend the time that Daniel's been on the phone. They don't want to spend the time that Daniel's come to 2 different trainings with me. They don't want to spend the money because they don't think it's worth it. That's the difference in the end. And I don't even care if you come to my training. Do you go to trainings? Do you learn from other people? Or do you think you know it all? Because when you think you know it all, that's your first thing. I'll be the first one to tell you right now, I don't know everything. And I know, and there's too much that nobody knows everything. With AI changing way it is so fast right now, it is beyond crazy. Like, I know something now that who would ever thought that this one unit would have been coming back into what you should be doing. And no, I'm not telling it to everybody. I'll probably tell it to my Monday night people and my mentor. I've already sent it to my mentorship people because it's something that is going to separate and do something that nobody would ever thought of or think of it. So these are all things that mindset, I think, is the biggest thing. Mindset was the biggest thing I needed to change to start growing my business. And we had a very long conversation with John. And John is a smart dude. I think you had already started changing your mindset by the time you came on to that class. But when you change your mindset, you will change your life. I actually thought about that kind of came to my mind this past week. That was my shower thought. When you change your mindset, you change your life. Sometimes you got to change your environment to change your mindset. Because sometimes your environment is not where you want to be at. If you're around a bunch of people that make $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 a year, they don't understand you. They don't understand that mindset that you need. They don't understand there's abundance of money. You just got to go out and claim it and get it and make it happen. Because they have a broke mindset. They have a mindset that I went and worked for 40 hours at $20 an hour. I made $800. That's their mindset. They can't imagine you putting up one Christmas light job making more than $800 in 2 hours and it took them 40 hours. They can't even imagine it. It blows their mind if it is. And your mindset is the most important thing that you got to change. Hey, Jason, thanks for all you do, the info you put out here for us newbies. Have you or anyone you've helped done a giveaway for their business or a house free to attract more businesses and their neighbors? So if you've been to my classes, you know that you only give away 2 different houses. You don't give the big corner house away to give it away. There's 2 different types of people you will give a free house one away. And I'm going to give you one. And this one here is one that you will give away, and you will make this house look amazing. You will put every light on this house that you can, and you will light it up, and you are not going to ask for a thing. Not one red penny. And it will make your heart so happy when you're done. It'll make you so happy that you've done this because it might be their last Christmas. It might be a little kid that they're not going to make it to Christmas. They got cancer. They got something that this little kid ain't going to get to see Christmas. And I promise you, it'll make you so happy when you see that kid's face come out there and see that house. And those are your free ones that you do. We used to do anywhere from 1 to 3 a year. Might not be a kid, might be an adult, might be grandma, might be mom, might be dad. We would find people in need of, they got cancer, terminal, they're not going to make it through the year, whatever. One time we had to put it up before Thanksgiving because they knew he wasn't going to make it past Thanksgiving. I've put up lights on a church and put a big Santa Claus on the top of it and put a big snowman up on top of this church because it was the kid's funeral and he wanted a superhero birthday. I'm like, we don't have superheroes, but we got a Santa and a snowman, and we did that. So that's one spot that I will give away a free house. And I would promise you, you should do the same thing too. It's the best thing. I did one, and my first year, we ended up getting 5 jobs out of this one house that we gave away for free. Didn't charge a thing. And those 5 customers stayed with me all the way till I sold that business. And so that is the importance of the things you can do to change one kid's life. Made me well more than that one person's life that I got to do. You know, and did I promote it a little bit? Yes. Did I promote it for myself? Not really. Because by me promoting that kid's house, doing it for free, other people came and donated too. And that right there is the key to success. That's what I want to know what success is, right? Giving to people and letting other people give to them so that they will be able to deal with what's coming. So if I can just give a few minutes of joy, I'm going to try to do it. And that's why I always gave one house away, at least one house away. Sometimes we gave 2, sometimes we gave 3. Just depends on the circumstances of where we could find people and what they needed. There's a lot of new installers on here tonight. That's awesome. Here to learn. So again, if you need Christmas lights, you can go to christmaslights.io, and we have fast free shipping. If you spend over $399, you can get free shipping, and that will help you a lot because shipping is getting expensive. So that is something that we offer. And if you need anything, we can usually get to you within 2 days. Sometimes it's 3 depending on your location, but it's about 2 to 3 days is what the shipping is. I actually ordered some stuff the other day to test it. I ordered it one day and I got it the next. So you can sometimes get it to the next day depending on how far you're away from one of the locations. There is 3 locations that are shipping. So we got shipped 3 locations all the way across the country where I'll ship from: Indianapolis, Utah, and Dallas. So it is something that you will be able to get shipped and get it going for that. Jason, give them a quick rundown of important materials. So some materials that are important. One is your, I've actually got some right here, is a good bulb, right? You really want a good bulb. You want one that, yes, you can find cheaper bulbs, but you really don't want cheap bulbs because cheap bulbs go out and they burn out, and then you got callbacks, and that is a problem. So these here are the Elite bulbs. We also carry the Minleon bulbs. The Elite bulbs have a 5-year warranty on them. So if they go out, we'll send you a new bulb for it. Next is clips. There's different types of clips. There's tough clips. There's these here are tough clips. There's best clips. This one here is called the flex clip. This one here, you can actually, this is the socket wire. You put the socket wire in. And this is another thing I would say. Get good socket wire. Can you get cheap socket wire? Yes, and I'll tell you what happens with cheap socket wire. So this is Admiral wire, and I've never one time had an issue with Admiral wire. The cheap wire, if you go cheap wire, if it pulls on this at all, it will pull this off, and then the bulb quits working. And that's a pain in the butt. And then water gets in there and it catches it halfway on fire and melts it out. How do I know? Because I've used cheap wire before. So I personally like Admiral wire the best. I've never had an issue out of Admiral wire. I will also say we carry the Minleon wire, and you're not knocking no sockets off of that wire. Like that sucker is molded on there. And so that is what you can do with the tough clip, with the flex clip. You can actually slide them over. I personally don't like doing this because a lot of times it will actually slide too far, and then you're pulling it back. If you're going to bulb, I would tell you to pre-bulb and clip, so you can take the bulb, clip, and while you're at home in the nice heat or air conditioning, depending on where you are, you can bulb and clip, and then you can put this into a bulb. The next thing you need is some males and females. You need about 2 to 3 times more females than you need males. Because on our line, you can only have one male, but we can have all the females that you want. So that's something else that I would tell you is get extra females. I would tell you to go ahead and get an extra case of them, because you will use 3 to 4 times more females than you will males. Because the males are, if you put more than one male on a line, then we got this thing called hot males. We don't need no hot males. We can have hot females all we want. We love hot females. Any dude on here. Some of you females on here might like hot females too, but we love hot females. We do not love hot males, because hot males burn things down to the ground or shock you. And yes, 120 can hurt you. And so putting these on are super easy. You can just, I actually made this one a little bit short. You don't have to. You just slide this in there like so, bend it over, and then we just take the cap and slide this on. And that is how easy it is that we can make our own males and females. And again, that's how you do your Christmas lights. That's literally how you make Christmas lights. Again, this is called a bulb. This is called socket wire. This can also be called stringer wire. So depending on who's selling it, it can be socket or stringer wire. These sockets here are E17, and so this is a C9 bulb, right? C9 bulb goes into a E17 socket. A C7 is a little bit smaller bulb. I don't have none right here with me. It's a little bit smaller bulb, and it goes into an E12 socket. So the socket wire for the socket wire is different for a E17, which is a C7, or E12, or an E17, which is for the C9. And then the last thing we have is minis, and I don't have any minis around here. Maybe I do. And these are the last things that you will use, is the minis. I do somewhere, I don't know. But the minis are the other thing that we need, and that is the only other thing we need. You can make a lot of money. This here is $8 to $10 a foot. This here, bulb and clip is $8 to $10 a foot. That's what we're literally charging. And if we're doing it at 15 inches, then we're making more money, right? Because now we only got to put up 80 bulbs at 100 feet instead of 100 bulbs at 100 feet. So again, this is what you can do to make really good money. It is a lot of fun to do Christmas lights. It is the most enjoying thing to do Christmas lights. Christmas lights, I promise you, will change your life. It has changed thousands of people's lives that I know, that I've helped grow their business. I've helped them start from nothing and get to $1 million. And it's maybe 2 million. And it's really cool to see how Christmas lights can change your life. And with that, again, you can go to christmaslights.io. You can buy all the stuff that I got here. I would tell you to buy the starter packs. The starter packs has the males, the females, all everything. They're called starter packs, but they're really called make it easy packs because I love making things easy for you. So it has the males, the females, the zip line, everything for you. Josiah, do you ever do in-person quotes? What if you were getting tons and tons of calls and can't keep up? And that's why I never did in-person quotes. I did all online quotes. I figured that it was a lot easier to give out because these people, time is of the essence. That's why we're hanging these lights. They don't have time for you to come out there and meet them and do that. There is some people that want that, but there's not a lot of it. What ladder would you recommend best? I would, depending on your area, I like the 28 foot, but sometimes your area might call for a 32, like you'll need a 32. In the Cincinnati area, 28 foot got me 95% of the jobs that I needed done. So why carry a bigger, heavier ladder if I didn't need it? And then I did aluminum. So I know fiberglass is better around power lines, but if it's dirty, it's going to shock you anyway. So I did aluminum because it's light, and I want to just be light. I didn't like heavy things and carrying it around. And when you're doing 5-6 jobs, you don't want heavy. Jobber or Go High Level, what CRM to use? If I would, depends. If you have more than one person and you're trying to route a lot of stuff, Jobber 100%. If you want to go to christmaslights.io/jobber, I got a discount code that you can use, and that's where you can go to christmaslights.io/jobber. Go High Level is great for the follow-ups, and honestly, I know a lot of people that are using both because of the follow-up system is not as good for Jobber, but the quoting system works really well from Jobber. So that's why a lot of people I know are actually using Jobber, and then they're doing the follow-ups and all of that through Go High Level. So it's kind of a both. It's a win-win for both. So that's kind of where you want to be at. We use both. Game changer, right? Because then you can start the follow-up. You can text, you can email, you can text, you can email, text, email, and you can bug the living hell out of them. You can have it where it calls you so that then you have to call it's actually as soon as you hit a button, it calls the customer right then and there. So it reminds you of, hey, you need to call this person, and then that way it will call you. And then it will automatically, as soon as you hit a button, it will call that customer. So that is the pretty cool thing about using both. And so, like John said, I would use both too, because both of them there is no perfect CRM out there. There's no perfect CRM out there, but there is, it is what it is, and so does it take time to set up Go High Level? Absolutely. Does it take time to set up Jobber? Absolutely. Is it worth it in the end? 100%. 100%. What if a homeowner doesn't have their home on Google Earth? Would you go in person, or is there a way around it? Yeah, you tell them to take a picture and send it to you. In fact, I know people that make them on their form send in a picture of their house. So that way you get an up-to-date house, because just because it's on Google doesn't mean it's up to date. That tree next to that house could be 10 feet taller than when it was when you seen it on Google. If you could make a product list of 5 add-ons, wreath, what would you do? So my first thing is the gutter line going across. That's the guarantee, right? That is the guarantee. Going across is the number one. My next one is a wreath. My next one is the ground stake lighting. My next one is the columns. My next one is the roof lines. Like I want to do roof lines. Then I'll do bushes and then I'll do trees. So, and then I'm going to put all of those on that jobber list. So the main line will be the first line and that has to be done. And then I'll add on the actual back of the, the ridges and everything. And then and then they can take off what they don't want. Hey, buddy, jumping on late. Need training for Christmas sites. I'll message you. Okay, come on. Would you just guesstimate measurement then? Yes, that's what I do. If you're using a software, and there's a lot of softwares out there now, I would probably use that. So that way I can train someone else to do it. And then just add some sugar to it, add some love to that bad boy, and send her on, is what I would do. So, well, again, if you need any Christmas lights, if you need any training, christmaslights.io/IPT. I have 2 classes coming up. This next class next weekend is my busy one. I don't have a lot of people signed up for the last one. So that next one is going to be an awesome one. I think we got like 15 people. I do have a special guest on training. Sean Day's coming to help me out. And so he'll be here talking with you. He's a great guy to talk to. He's had a very successful businesses. And so that's where you want to be able to get around people, like-minded people, and talk to those. AI probably could help. And yes, AI can definitely help. And it's getting more and more. So with that, I know I started late, so I guess I'll run late, but with that, you all have an amazing week this week. Again, we know that the calls are starting to come in. Get those yard signs out, get those Facebook ads up, get pushing, knocking doors, whatever you got to do, beat down, talk to people, and it is amazing. Again, Christmas lights will change your life. People always ask, is it too late to start a Christmas light business? And the answer is hell no. If you come even at last weekend in October, I will almost guarantee you, if you don't make $30,000 to $100,000, if you just do half of what I say, then I've had many people come that last weekend of October and leave here making 30 to 100 grand their very first year. And so that is the awesome thing about Christmas lights. It's so much fun. I love it. Hopefully you all love it. And with that, thank you and have an amazing week and go be great.